What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Throw Show, and we've got a whole bunch of news in the throwing world and some monster throws and some crazy historic events that have happened over this past week. I think it's been a pretty emotional up and down roller coaster the last week, especially basically because the end of the season has happened on the professional ranks. And then that first thing that we're going to dive right into is the loss of the world record holder, Yuri Sadiq. I found out about this from Patty McGrath early, 2 days ago, just around when, the day he passed away, that Nikulin had posted it on his Facebook. So I think he was 66 years old, and it's sort of weird because I grew up where we had this cassette that all the hammer throwers would watch. With Sadiq doing, I don't even remember what it's called, but it had like ringtones to it, basically like using it as a technical model. And we've got this amazing picture here where Dr. B got the bronze at the 76 Olympics and Sadiq standing there, looking over him. And that was essentially when Dr. B said that's when he decided to retire, was when a pupil would beat him.
Was he coaching him at that time?
Yeah, he was coaching him. So if he's 66, Dr. B, I want to say he's 76, 78. So he probably was 32. I'd have to do some quick math at this time, Dr. B. But Sadiq would have been a little bit younger. But, it's like a crazy thing. I don't know if anybody really knows how he passed away, but he does have. I think he has at least one child, and then his wife as well. So it's sort of just stinks. It's it's just like a sad moment, and you feel that loss, and I'm sure Dr. B feels that loss because Dr. B also always spoke really highly of Yuri. And we've got to mention also that, Sergei Litvinov had passed away in 2018. So now those two guys have since passed. Dr. B's here now, but it's just, it's just a terrible, terrible thing to happen.
Yeah, it's the loss of a legend.
Yeah.
Absolute legend.
Now, for maybe a negative on the, I don't know. When it comes down to how do you feel about this?
I mean, Malachowski is one of the greatest discus throwers of all time.
Yeah.
And I think he had an incredible career. And I think probably, most people might have seen this coming. But, even, I don't even, do you know how old he is now?
I think he's 39.
So like as a 39-year-old still throwing, 65, 66 meters like consistently, like that's insane. He is one of the greatest of all time, and I mean it's sad to see him retired, just because it'd almost be cool to like what would he do as a 40-year-old?
Right.
Like, but I think he's definitely contributed a lot to the sport in his time throwing.
Yeah, and this was not his last comp. This picture actually here of Malachowski retiring was from the Olympics, and it was interesting seeing, Canner was his coach those last couple of years, seeing him during the qualification, and like when he didn't make it, it was sort of like, I think he got that feeling that was going to be it. And that's his big 71-meter throw. And I agree with you. I do believe he is one of the best of all time. He's got, 71-meter throw to his name. All the way back to what, I want to say 2007, 2008, he was competing. So he's got Olympic medals and world championships. He's got a world, this is one of my favorite throws of his right there, actually. I think he stays so grounded on that throw.
Mm-hmm.
But also, winning the world championship was huge in 2015. And how many? He has 2 silvers, I think. Might even have 3. I'm trying to think if he did medal in 08. I think he might have. So, I don't know. It is cool. It's like seeing and paying respect to someone that has had that caliber of a career. So
yeah, absolutely.
And then that takes us, talking about someone who did.
Great.
Yeah. So if we can think about
legacy.
Virgilius Alekna threw till he was, I want to say 44. And now here comes his son. He just won the World Junior Championship, and he threw 69.81 with the 175, which I don't think many guys with the 2K could do that. That's just an absolutely huge throw. And I want to see, because I do feel like he obviously has some pretty substantial similarities to his dad. One thing I think he does sweep slightly differently than his dad. I think his left side's pretty similar in the middle. I don't know if they have the back side of this throw. I don't know how big he is. I think he's also going to Cal this year as well.
Really?
Yeah, from what I remember hearing. Maybe he doesn't dump that left as hard as his dad does or did. But I think it's cool. It's like it's cool for me because it's like Alekna was a guy like as I was coming up. Like he doesn't dump it as well as hard as his dad does. Alekna Virgilius would tuck that left elbow into his trunk.
At the finish.
Yeah. Well, and even in the middle, he would tuck it into his trunk, whereas he holds it more up here. So it's interesting. That's like a question where I'd like to sit down with his dad and be like, why? Did you coach him to do this, or is this just a natural thing?
Yeah, right.
Wait, let me see this one more time, Trevor, please.
Okay.
I want to see what his left arm does here. This isn't the best view, but yeah, it does stay more level.
Yeah. It's still like, it still
it's
comes
flexed,
in.
It's flexed, but not down.
Which is different, I feel like, that you see from a lot of current, discus throwers. Usually they keep that left arm long in the middle.
Valarie does that a little, though, which we'll see. Just hold tight. Okay, so we're going to get into Lawrence Okuye had a meet in Budapest where he ended up going 66.89, and at the Olympics he's one of the best in the world, one of the best discus throwers in the world, and just struggled at the Olympics. And he just cranks that. That's a weird discus sector too. So he's in Hungary. Dude, he's one of the biggest guys I've ever seen in person. Just an absolute monster. I think that's a great way for him. Like, you look at what he did at the Olympics was super. From his perspective, extremely frustrating because he could have done some damage there, but he comes back, finishes off the year strong, right around 67 meters. And it's going to be interesting, I think, to see what he does over the next year or two with his progression and how he keeps making improvements and climbs back up those world ranks now that he's back into throwing more regularly.
Yeah. So here. First of all, have you ever seen a circle set up quite like this?
I was thinking that this is how Alessandro Andre's meet in Italy, where he threw 22.90.
Okay.
Almost
it's like they're on a raised platform already, and then the circle's raised, 3 inches almost off the ground.
Yeah,
which is that thin metal rim.
I would say that that's where I would say Andre's circle, where he went huge, was almost exactly like this. Yeah. Now the difference was looks like they're throwing on a flat surface. Alessandro Andre was like throwing off of a cliff, if you ask me. So I think this is a little bit more fair. But on that toe board, so Trevor, being the equipment / facility engineer, and you've put in our toe boards, and the one toe board is slightly shaky. Whoa.
Yeah, but that's for a very obvious reason that I've just never fixed.
So what do you think happened?
If we were hosting the Diamond League final with that toe board, I would make an effort to fix it, I think.
So what do you think happened on that?
I don't know. I can't really see what's going on, but it looked like just it kind of ripped out where the screw or bolt was holding it into into the platform there. It's probably, it seems like this is also a very temporary setup. Like even the sector was on a raised platform.
Yeah, that's what.
Like you could hear it when it landed.
And you can see from the side when they're panning in the beginning. Looks like it hits right in the middle, and there's something on the right side that sort of pops off. So they bring in the sod, put it on a raised platform, and then, lay the sod on top of that raised platform. I wonder how that, is that financially, how do they make money off these things?
I don't know. It's at a pretty cool location, though.
Yeah. We got to get one of these in Reading.
Yeah.
West Reading street shot.
Yeah.
Diamond League final. Trevor makes sure that the toe board is perfect.
So, I mean, I guess this is is that still a cement circle, though?
I think it is. They
just hauled it in.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I remember hearing that Andre's was a portable cement circle.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean, also you can see just by his reverse, he just puts all his weight into that right heel, really going into the toe board.
It looks like there's something there that would have been connected to it. So, what was that throw? I wonder if they measured it, if they gave him a mark on the one that he broke.
Did they give him a re-throw?
I don't know. I would assume.
Yeah.
But so Walsh comes back after this meet, goes to Zagreb and ends up throwing 22.39. So he started to get into pretty good shape at the end of the year here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see that consistency.
Yeah. And that takes us right into Ryan Krauser's Diamond League final. Oh, this is not in Zagreb, which is where he went 22.80 something.
Right.
Man, that's crazy.
I feel like this is the first meet all year for Ryan that his first couple throws, I think he had a short throw and then a foul, and then wow, it took 2 throws for him to hit a monster
22.60.
But still, his little I don't know if that was just the whole setup here, or maybe he's human and has a couple bad throws every now and then as well. So
I think it's interesting too, because it was soon after that training throw that everybody was sort of talking about, where it looked a little bit different. Mm-hmm. His rhythm was slightly different. But yeah, I came upstairs and Krauser's at 21.98 or something. He had a throw that looked like it was below 20 that slipped off his hand, and then still comes back and is able to just dial it into 22.69. So it's this guy has a bad day at 22.70. Yeah, that's a bad day, a legitimately bad day, because then he comes back the following week and has multiple throws at 22 deep and then 22.84. Where he's sitting, or 89, whatever that was in Zagreb, and has 2 back-to-back years undefeated. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of those, the best in the world. Think about Valarie Allman is the best in the world. Won the Olympics by 2 meters, won the Diamond League, set a huge season best, a huge world lead, and she's lost this year. That's how indestructible he is. Think about how dominant she's been. Mm-hmm. And she's actually had a loss. I think 1 or 2 losses, not a lot, but Ryan hasn't lost at all.
Yeah.
So it's just 2 back-to-back years. He's you give him 2 more years like that, he's going to be the Tom Brady of shot put.
Right. I mean, it's
I think he already
whatever
is, really.
Sport, whatever you're in, to not lose it all is no matter what. It doesn't matter how good, how far separated you are from the competition. To be the best every single day you compete is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's the Michael Jordan of throwing. He's the Wayne Gretzky. He's the LeBron James, the Tom Brady. How many more comparisons can we make? And so this is the other thing that I wanted to bring up, is that so Maggie's here, goes out. I thought she looked great at this meet. She had multiple throws over 19. Just peppering 19
she's
mid.
In control of this meet.
Yeah, from the get-go. And a lot of the women were struggling during this comp. I want to say Dongmo even went to a little bit of a non-reverse during this competition. That's where I was wondering, is there something up with the circle? Mm-hmm. And I will say this too, the format was cool because they put the women together with the men. But what was interesting to me is that then you sat there and you go, okay, Krauser wins the men's shot. Maggie wins the women's shot, the Diamond League title, and Val wins the Diamond League title. Has it ever happened that we have 3 Americans win the Diamond League? And I think I did go back and look. I didn't see anything along those lines where that happened.
Yeah,
and I thought
true.
her technique on that throw I really liked quite a bit. That looked really, really good. Yeah, she smashes that throw. So it's pretty cool to see Krauser, Maggie, Val all really, really just crush it. Left foot looks pretty good there, rotating to the front. She's a stud.
I'd like to see this format more often too. I think this is something really good that they did.
Yeah.
It just makes it, just to see, like, you know, it's just weird to see even in the back of the circle, like them, you know, the men and the women just together, like, you know, talking and
chilling.
like, you know, they can cheer each other on
Yeah.
because they're not in the same competition, you know?
Right.
And it's cool to see that.
Right, absolutely. And so that brings us into, I think, this is just the most absurd, absolutely best. I'm making the bold statement of this is where I think we're going to be going in the sport with the reverse technique as a technical model. I think it's that throw right there. There's one thing.
Ridiculous.
There's one, and I wish we could get this into slow-mo. There's one aspect of the throw that I'm like, maybe that I would change a little bit. But out of the back, through the middle, on the finish, you can just see, and it's like, we've gone through coaching where, you know, you learn as a thrower early on to like extend your knees, and if you watch that throw, you know, she just sits into that left, her right knee's staying flexed the whole way. She's rotating forever. And it's 71 meters in a stadium.
Yeah.
Dude, that's huge.
A big stadium. Like there's no wind coming in there.
Yeah, so kudos to her and her coach. They've done just a fantastic job. And I mentioned this earlier with Alekna. The only thing she does is that little, when she has like that little collection or little wrap in the middle, she has the elbow flex, and I think the more standard is that elbow's lengthened.
I mean, how much do you think that is the difference between like a technical foundation of the throw and personal feeling and just how they are able to essentially, like in simplest forms, gear up and finish hard? Like, where do you see the difference there? Like, is there room? Is that something that could just be room for personal preference?
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I don't think it matters. Yeah. I would just say, I think from me coaching, but the thing I love about her throw there too is like when her right grounds, it's like, okay, so if we just walk through the throw out of the back, she opens really well. She doesn't go as wide with her like she doesn't open her hips around the left as much as like Harding would. But she's got a really long right leg that, and the left hip and the left knee stay directly in line with the center of the circle or the center of the sector out of the back. And she's got this long right leg that sweeps down, and when she sweeps down, the right grounds, that's when she holds the left in the middle. And I really like, and I don't believe this is as important. See if you can pause in the middle. I don't know if you can. I don't think it's as important for one more frame. Yeah, right there. I don't think, so that's where her left elbow flexes. I don't think this is as important in the men's discus, like getting, like everybody will say orbit. I think it is important. It is very important in the women's discus because the implement is so light. But you could draw like a straight line from her head all the way through the knee into the foot. So I like how high the discus gets because I think that creates this big tension for her. And then when that left grounds, I don't know if you'll be able to do this, but you can.
I lost it.
if you pause like at the front, her left foot gets so flat and she just stays on it forever. You can see right there, like that right knee's bent, sitting into that flat left foot, and she just cranks it. It's like, dude, so she's stronger. She's extremely strong. She can clean over 120 kilos. She's fast. Technique is on. She's dialed in. She's motivated. And again, like, dude, I believe this should be, if you're a reverser, even if you're a non-reverser, this should be your technical model right here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to break the men's American discus record because it should be broken by somebody. So Val's going to break it.
Yeah.
As a woman, it's going to be great. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I just love the fact
She's got a lot of competing left to do. So
yeah, that's the thing.
it's cool where she can.
As a coach, we're in this just phenomenal period of observation of Val, Krauser, Kovacs, Walsh, watching Maggie, watching Raven, watching Ramsey, watching the best out there, and we're able to engage and see what they're doing on a regular basis for the most part, and just being part of this growth is cool as a coach. It's neat, it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So high school kids, learn from these greats, and go back, watch Yuri Sadiq, watch Litvinov's technique, and pay some tribute to those guys and the path that they sort of blazed, or I guess Dr. B really, my coach Dr. B blazed this path for those guys to come up. And I think now that we're seeing this on the back end where it's like the new technical models are really starting to take hold, where we're not jumping up out of the back, we're not jumping up on the finish, we're staying grounded, and we're really hitting great positions, and the training is just really it's fun to be a part of. And I think a lot of these high school kids that participate can really learn a lot, and it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So stay tuned for another throw show. Until next time, guys, peace.